2, 1.
So, A Shot in the Dark is a 1964 comedy film directed by Blake Edwards. This is the second movie in the Pink Panther series. Are you sure?
Yeah, that's
Supposedly, production was hampered by the fact that star Peter Sellers felt that the script was poor and wanted some revisions. This sullied the relationship between Sellers and writer Blake Edwards to the point that the two claimed that they would never work again. This was bullshit because they later reconciled to make The Party and 3 more Pink Panther films in the 70s. A Shot in the Dark was a critical success with a 93% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and starred Thomas's mom.
Why do we always
It's funny because it's true.
Why does it bring my mom into this? Like, I don't understand.
I'm making your mom famous.
More famous than she already is. You strike me down, Darth, I'll become more powerful than I already am.
And your mom.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Can I go first on this one? Because I really didn't have too much. I mean, I watched this yesterday, and I didn't get a lot out of it. I mean, I thought it was pretty funny.
You have 4 bullet points.
I do have 4 bullet points. Let me just rattle those bullet points off, and we'll be done with this. I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, it's Pink Panther, so it's going to be funny. Right? Like, it is... Pink Panther's funny. It just is. And most of it's funny because of who Inspector Clouseau is and how he's kind of just weirdly narcissistic about everything. The production values are pretty bad. So when it isn't funny... No, it is. When there's almost no cinematography. The editing's kind of weak. Like, it's mostly just Sellers kind of hamming it up. And while that is funny, that is funny, when it isn't actually funny, it's kind of frustrating. And obviously, this isn't the best film in the series. I mean, which one would you say is the best, Michael?
I know, but if you ask me to say the title, I'm going to fuck up. Because the amazing thing about the Pink Panther movies is the names are all really confusing.
Well, let's open up Wikipedia to find out.
Wikipedia doesn't know what the best Pink Panther movie is.
Let's open up the name. They know what the names are.
Yeah, but no, I can tell you the names. They're like The Revenge of the Pink Panther, The Return of the Pink Panther, Thomas's mom is the Pink Panther. Like, there's no clear order to them. It's not like Pink Panther 1, Pink Panther 2, Pink Panther 3.
How many face tests are we at now?
That's 8.
It's fantastic. We're going to break our record. This is exciting, folks. Yeah, so Pink Panther, A Shot in the Dark, Inspector Clouseau.
The Pink Panther Strikes Again, The Revenge of the Pink Panther,
yeah.
Trail of the Pink Panther, The Curse of the Pink Panther, and then there's the Steve Martin ones.
Those don't exist. So, as you can tell, the actual order is difficult to get. I will check, because I know I bought the best Pink Panther movie, whatever it was when I researched it, but I don't remember the name. I'm sorry.
So we kind of just ended up picking one.
Well, I ended up choosing potentially the least funny in the series. No, that's not true. I lie. They had a total flop later on.
Yeah,
but
in the 80s.
In this, A Shot in the Dark was still very much proof of concept for what this series was going to become. They were still working out and experimenting with what was funny and what wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is funny when it plays on the fact that he's just terrible at his job. Like, that's when this movie is funny.
This movie is... that and the physical comedy.
Yeah.
This was one of the movies that pioneered physical comedy.
Out of all 3 of these films, this is easily the most slapstick-oriented.
Yes. And
easily the most slapstick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big slapstick guy.
Too bad.
Yeah, I know. That's basically... That's why I like Hot Fuzz to some extent, is because there's not a lot of slapstick.
You're not mature enough. You need to mature so you can appreciate slapstick comedy.
I need to mature so I can appreciate lowbrow comedy.
Yes, exactly.
Of course, that's just how it works.
That's how it works.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was okay. What did you think, Kasen?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's right. You watched the 2006 Steve Martin one.
Steve Martin 2006 Pink Panther.
Yeah. I'm rather snobby. I don't consider any of the Pink Panther movies that didn't involve Peter Sellers to actually be Pink Panther movies.
Do we have a sad clown music or something? Like,
if we do, you should probably insert it afterwards.
Probably insert it, yeah. At some point. It's just bump, 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 bump. Like the sad Price is Right music. That's what I'm looking for.
But we should probably say a bit about what the hell this movie was, because your points kind of didn't address that.
Yeah.
This movie is interesting. It's a movie that you watch and you laugh and you cringe at the same time. Because the things that make you laugh also kind of make you die inside.
A little bit. Yeah, not gonna lie.
The protagonist is a man called Inspector Clouseau, who is French, and amazingly incompetent. But the trick is, he thinks that he is the next super detective.
I think I mentioned that, right? Like, that he is kind of so narcissistic, that's what makes it really funny.
Yeah, well, the physical comedy, for the most part, worked for me. But the fact that I always found funniest was... What the hell are you doing? The fact that I found funniest was he would always get into these situations, and of course he would talk down to the people with more experience than him. He'd bring them in and treat them as manservants. And he'd be like... he'd flick his stuff all over the shirt. Be like, sorry about that. He'd break his thing over the desk. Like, you idiots! You made me break my pointing stick. What am I going to point with now? I was trying to imagine all these other people who have to put up with this guy, and then to have the guy that you're putting up with, that you're trying not to laugh at or deck in the face, call you an idiot. I find that so beautifully comical. It's just I would snap if I was in the same room with this man.
And later in the series, they play on that more.
Yes.
They play on the idea that he's everyone kind of just is like, what are you still doing as an inspector? Like, you are terrible. But somehow
the beauty is,
he always gets the guy. Yeah.
It works.
It always works. And that's part of what makes this kind of so endearing is really? This worked?
I actually, as the series went on, I began to find Crusoe more and more endearing. But at the same time, I'm not sure he's a man I would actually want to spend time with. Because I think he would piss me off.
Yeah.
But that very fact allows us to laugh at others who he does spend time with.
I have to agree.
The physical comedy, what I really liked about the physical comedy here is that they play with it and they innovate with it and they push it. They're like, well, what's funny? I know, a guy falling on the ground is funny. But that's kind of been done before. A guy getting slapped in the face is funny. And they run on this later on in the series, but what if you're trying to take a poll cue and you accidentally knock down the entire display of poll cues in front of a millionaire, so very, very sophisticated gentleman, and then proceed to get angry at the poll cues and end up breaking a few on your way down?
Yeah,
I really enjoy it. But they always do something new with it. They don't rely on the same joke. Well, they do in the sense that the same joke is, look, someone's trying to kill Crusoe. He doesn't. Someone else dies instead.
It's always like somebody always confuses him with somebody else.
Well,
that is usually the staple of the series.
It's not that they get confused. It's that he's a very unpredictable person. So they'll go to take the shot, and then he's like, "Oh, look, a penny!" And they'll reach down. The guy behind them gets shot in the face.
Yeah,
things like that. But I like that they at least vary it up rather than keep trying to hit the same note with the joke.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the fact that, this is kind of a weird film, too, because this one doesn't rely a lot on the irony. It relies a lot on, basically, physical jokes, right? Like, you broke my pointing stick and pool cues, right? It relies on that more so than the other two films do it all. I mean, it's almost like, in the order we have it here, Shot in the Dark, Fish Called Wanda, Hot Fuzz, they all range from most slapstick to least slapstick, most irony to least irony. That makes sense, right? Like, Fish Called Wanda kind of exists between both of the films.
Keep in mind that the audience can't see the gestures you're making with your hand, so they can't actually figure out how you just scaled this.
On one end, you have Shot in the Dark. On the other end, you have Hot Fuzz. In the middle, you have Fish Called Wanda. And then way off on the other end of the spectrum, you have Titanic. Better, Michael?
Yes. Titanic was definitely the most ironic of these films.
It's ironic because people thought it was good. Ow!
We're including Titanic in a British comedy spectrum?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas is a strange person. I think we've established that already.
Today I'm a little
all in favor say aye.
I'm trying to do some other things. Anyways,
Kinky. I really enjoyed this film. And the difficult thing is, it's hard to say why I really enjoyed this film. It's mostly the physical comedy, which admittedly is not the most sophisticated of comedy. But then again, why would you say you like a Mr. Bean skit?
Very true.
Because Mr.
Would you say that nostalgia has some kind of factor in this, Michael?
Nostalgia has a bit of factor. I only got introduced to it 6 years ago.
Okay.
So it's not quite as strong.
Not that much.
But I really enjoy the comedy and just the irony. Because, everyone wants to kill this guy so much, and yet they have to put up with him. And the fact that Crusoe, the inspector, gets arrested like 8 times during this movie. And try to imagine it from Dreyfus, the inspector's point of view.
Like, what do you do?
this guy not only keeps getting arrested for things like, oh, do you have a license to sell paintings outside the prison? No. He takes him off.
Yeah.
Then goes on to keep releasing the almost guaranteed killer from prison 5 times. Each time she's found on the murder scene of someone else. To the point where like all of the Pulp Fiction magazines are making fun of the police force. Just like, that's so funny. That's so brilliant. That's so beautifully entertaining.
It's kind of weirdly entertaining. I don't know. What would be your rating out of 5, Michael?
This is not the best Pink Panther movie. There are some very awkward moments. And it does kind of it does seem to have some really slow points.
Mm-hmm. You want me to go first?
4.5 out of 5, I would say. I would give the best in the series a 5 out of 5, but that seems kind of redundant to say.
If this isn't the best in the series, then
No, this is not the best.
I don't know. I give it 3 out of 5. In that it was good. I didn't think it was the best thing ever, but I liked it. What did you give the Steve Martin one, Kasen, out of 5?
Yeah, because I was going to say, I can't really give Shot in Dark a rating.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I'm not much of a Pink Panther expert myself. I haven't seen all the movies. I've seen the first original one, and then I've seen this one. So I've seen both beginners of the different series, I suppose. I really like Steve Martin. I think he's a brilliant actor. I'm not sure he's as good as the original in terms of Pink Panther, but I thought he was pretty good. Michael will disagree with me. Everything I say, Michael will disagree with me.
I can't believe you put Peter Sellers and him in the same sentence. I don't know you anymore.
Even so, I really thought this movie was quite funny. So I would probably give it a 4 out of 5 in terms of funny. Just because of that, because I could sit through it and it was entertaining for me.
Okay, before Michael tries to break my computer to get at you.
Here, so I'll just be quiet.
Okay, before Michael tries to break my computer.
Wait. No, you have to rate it.
I gave it 3 out of 5. I said so.
Okay, I'm going to break you now.
Anyways, moving on to A Fish Called Wanda.